This was insane to witness. Taylor Britt has been tearing up OTAs, including an interception of Joe Burrow. With Al Golden as the defensive coordinator, could we be seeing the Taylor Britt of old? We're going to break down and discuss what Taylor Britt has been doing and why we should be excited. Welcome to the jungle. This is Isaac Coffman with Bengals Digest. So happy to see you. And if you want to be up to date with all the breaking news and notes of OTAs, of minicamp that is right around the corner, smash that subscribe. We're going to be bringing all the live updates to you, so you don't want to miss out on when a new video drops. Well, big news out of camp with Taylor Britt. He picked off Joe Burrow, and oh, what a sight it was. He was covering, of all people, Mike Gesicki. That should tell you something about Taylor Britt, that he was lining up inside. It was insane to see it. He lined it up perfectly, and this is coming off of Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's been having a good camp as well. He's been showing that connection with his receivers. So to see this right here from Taylor Britt, it gives you glimpses of him last year. Let's go back to week 2 against the Chiefs, and it didn't count, but that interception was just, it was just, amazing. I was losing it. Of course, there was a penalty on that, unfortunately, but you got to think of what Taylor Britt can bring to this secondary. And I go back to with this defense, unfortunately, they had their struggles last year, and it trickles down from the front defensive line into the secondary. The secondary just didn't seem to hold up, unfortunately. They weren't getting the pressure outside of Trey Hendrickson, and the secondary just seemed young. They seemed maybe just lost. Whatever the case was, they just were not clicking like they would. And in fact, if you go back to Taylor Britt's stats, you'll see that he wasn't himself. He started to actually come on a little bit towards the end of the year, so the stats don't tell the whole story. But he was getting burned a lot. He wasn't covering like he was a couple years prior. And if you look at it, he's hovering around that 60 PFF grade, which, it's not great. It's not going to be terrible. When you look at the stats, it's just not, there's room for improvement. That's the best way to put it. But again, what is the key when it comes to Taylor Britt? Getting back on track and keeping it simple. That is exactly what you want to hope for with Al Golden. Al Golden is coming in. He is the new defensive coordinator, taking over for Lou Anarumo, who much respect to Lou. He was that defensive coordinator for that Super Bowl team. I'm excited to see what Al Golden does. Keep it simple. Get back to basics. And that's where I go back to. Maybe they were trying to do too much. They looked confused at times. Taylor Britt included in all of that as well. So that's what's got me excited, is seeing Taylor Britt. It feels like he's buying into Al Golden. And he said as much of how he was feeling. This quote coming from Taylor Britt. He was talking about, I just want to play football. I might be rookie year Cam, which is when we made the playoffs. I think I've elevated my game every day, honestly. That's awesome. That's great to hear that he's feeling good. You want to hear that from him, that he's buying in. They asked him if he wouldn't mind playing inside, outside. That's where he said, I just want to play football. Sign me up on that. I love when a player can just, what's going to be best for the team? What can I do to contribute? That's the right mentality. And he's always seemed to have that. I've been a fan of Taylor Britt when he came in. His rookie year, like he said, that is when they went to the Super Bowl. He was more of a backup that year, but he showed flashes. And that's the thing with him. He's got the skills that he could be one of those top cornerbacks. He could, be a top quarterback, obviously, on the Bengals, but who knows? If he can just put it together, and being in Al Golden's system, maybe that's what was needed. Again, going back to last year, that could be what was making him have an off year, and players have that. Unfortunately, players are not always going to be clicking. I think it probably was more he just had an off year, but if you're trying to do too much, it's just not going to help. So slow it down, make it back to basics. That's what I want to see. And in fact, he went on about that. Keeping stuff simple, keeping everything the same thing in a couple of defenses. Everything is the same and not thinking as much. You hear one word and you know everything else, basically. And you use your tools in your toolbox for that. So there you go. That's exactly what I was hoping to hear about Cam Taylor Britt, that he is going to go back to basics, and Al Golden is enabling that. That is the scheme I'm hoping to see, because going back to, he picked off a pass that was intended for Mike Gesicki. So that should tell you that they're lining him up to maybe matchups. He seemed to match up fairly well with Mike Gesicki, and that's got me excited, because if they have him, I brought out Dax Hill, seems like a guy that could cover tight ends. You can never have too many of those guys. Tight ends are becoming all the rage. They're becoming more of that threat on offenses. As a defense, you've got to respond. You got to have a counter. And if Cam Taylor Britt can be that guy that in certain games, you just got to move him inside to match up, there you go. That's great to hear. For me, I'm all pumped to hear that not only has he got the right attitude, again, he wants to just play football. He's willing to move inside, but he's keeping it simple. He's getting back to, as he would say, his rookie year, where he feels like he was playing well. That's what you want to see. And Al Golden, I have a lot of trust in him that he's going to be able to do that. But we'll just have to stay tuned, see what else is in camp. So far, he's been exciting. You talk to the players, all of them are just saying he's coming back. He's really playing well. He's made some plays outside of that Burrow pick. He almost had an interception on Monday at practice. They were saying how he just looks different. He's got this different feel to him. So again, going back to it, maybe that is the key, is keeping it simple. Keep your eyes peeled on that. Who knows? Maybe there will be some more interceptions, not at the expense of Joe Burrow. We want the interceptions when it comes to the other team. Now, again, this was an interception for Joe Burrow, but a little side note, Joe Burrow came out the next series after that and got his revenge. Who else? He was able to hit Jamar Chase for a deep pass. And that's just not surprising, right? We hear Joe Burrow, he's got that edge to him. He's competitive. So that probably really ticked him off that it got picked off. Happy for Cam Taylor Britt, but at the same time, he came right back and hit Jamar Chase. So that was also good to see on a side note as well. But we want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Do you think that Cam Taylor Britt is back? Are we going to see the old Taylor Britt, the one that is going to be able to just be that lockdown corner that we really need? This defense needs to come up. It needs to come out fast. We're going to be talking about that as the season approaches, how they need to come out fast. The defense needs to do that. And Cam Taylor Britt is going to be a big key of that. But we want to hear from you. Comment below. What do you think of camp so far? And if you have not already, make sure you smash that subscribe so you'll be all up to date as our new videos drop. So that's going to do it for now. As we say, hoo day.